You'll not believe what happened with the weather here in Benidorm. Authentic fire started in the Villajoyosa hospital right next to Benidorm. Intense fume and black smoke alerted a lot of people immediately. Benidorm begins finally a construction of reused water network in the area of the Poniente Beach. Why it's done and why these people will be really, really lucky, together with things to do in Benidorm and the upcoming event, plus the weather forecast, because boy, it was an absolute madness here since yesterday evening, and it still kind of is right now. Stay tuned up until the end. Let's go. First things first, let's start with the tourism update just real quick. As you all know, we've just finished November fiestas in Benidorm, one of the busiest times outside of a peak summer season. It was packed with Spanish and national tourists overall, and tourism from any other part of the world too, but mostly Spanish, those who know this celebration and have some properties here or have been coming here their whole life. These people know Benidorm November fiestas are a must to visit. And immediately after, yesterday, we had the fancy dress party. We've shown you one of the videos we were supposed to film too, but our migration consulting company, our real estate company, had such a huge amount of work to do that it was simply impossible for us to arrive to make another video. We were so tired after all this noise in Benidorm that it's just exhausting. For those who are introverts, these people will understand. It's just too exhausting. Fancy Dress was epic, was more than 30,000 people, as we imagined. We have a full video here on the channel if you still did not see it by now. And it was packed, absolutely. Obviously at night, some crazy things, some ambulances, some police cars. Typical thing on the British street, nothing out of the extraordinary, honestly. We were expecting more trouble, but it was kind of all right. And now when it's all done, we have a small period of time up until the Christmas lights are on, up until the city is ready for like December festivities, which are one of our favorite ones here in the area, because everything is so nicely decorated. It's just nice to see all these Christmas lights, Christmas tree, the ice skating rink. It's just like it gives a special kick because it's not as cold here. We don't have snow either, so we have to ignite the Christmas spirit with something, right? And that's why we're looking forward to it. So meanwhile, on the 22nd of November, Saturday, it's not going to be this one, but it's the upcoming Saturday, I think, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 19, 20. Yeah, I think it's the upcoming Saturday. So upcoming Saturday, for some reason, I feel like it's Monday today and it's Friday already. Upcoming Saturday in the morning, in the evening time, this one is one of the few things, one of the few competitions that's done in the evening. And it's going to be Benidorm half. It's already, last time when we've updated you was 8,000 participants. Now it's already more than 9,000. It went 1,000 up. And more than half are British tourists and local residents. And it's going to be epic. There's going to be more than 2,500 participants more than last year. It's growing nonstop. It's 21 kilometers and 10 kilometers. And it's just great seeing that Benidorm is not about the partying. And that's what we always say. There's some areas that are for party, mostly. But then all the rest is available for whatever you feel like doing. And one of these things is being sports and outdoor fresh air activities, like this one, the Benidorm half. And then afterwards, I suppose between the 1st and the 4th, I wish to say, even though there's no real confirmation just yet. Last year, a lot of people were asking us in the comments, when will the Christmas fair be starting? When will the lights be on? Etc., etc. And we couldn't answer you guys because we didn't have any information, because the town hall didn't make it public up until like a couple of days before it happened, like towards the end or first days of December. This year, hopefully they'll do it earlier. Hopefully they'll give us at least like 1 week in advance notice. That would be really much appreciated, honestly. But usually it's between 1st and 4th of December. That's when the countdown starts for the Christmas fair to start. That's when the ice skating rink turns on. There's a concert, there's confetti, there's fireworks, and there's a little bit of everything. So stay tuned. If you're here on these dates, you're really, really lucky. We'll love the beginning of Christmas here in And now let's go with two main news. First of them is being the fire that shocked a lot of people. There is no victims in the fire, but it surprised a lot of people and it got concerned a lot of people because the smoke was black and it was just blasting with a big force. It was visible from everywhere here, Albir, Altea, probably if it's slightly higher up, Benidorm, obviously, and Villajoyosa, surrounding areas, Finistrad. It was visible everywhere. So the police firefighters, they came immediately. I think it's like a question of 10 minutes, like what the traffic was to arrive, and they extinguished the fire around 1.5 hours completely after when it started. This fire, luckily, it was not in the old building, which is where the functioning hospital is right now. But you know that Villajoyosa Hospital, right outside Benidorm, is being renewed, and there's a brand new piece of like building emerging right next to the old one. So it's going to be like 2.5 times bigger than what it is right now. And in that building, on the down floor, like -1, -2, like a garage part, that is where the fire started. I suppose someone left something unattended, cables maybe, or something, like something in electric circuit must have happened. I'm not sure. There's no official information either about it because I suppose there's an investigation. But it all appears like someone just left something unattended, or maybe like a circuit with water and electricity. Something has happened, and if the wiring maybe wasn't correct, and that new part of the building is what burned down. Not everything, obviously, but it will need some repairs, and this probably will take way more time for them to actually open up that part of the hospital and finishing it all up, because now it has to be cleaned, and new isolation systems and everything has to be changed, because that was quite a big fire. And here on the screen you could have seen how it looked like right next to the hospital. Quite a dark smoke, isn't it? I'm glad it wasn't in the main hospital, and I'm glad no one was injured. But yeah, we got slightly scared this morning when we've seen this on the road, quite from far away, I have to say. Hopefully no more issues will be happening. And now let's go with the last news before we head to the weather forecast, because prepare, we didn't expect what happened, honestly, since yesterday. Benidorm is a city that loves recycling. It is a city that uses more and more solar panels. It's a city where hotels are efficient, energetically speaking, where they try their best to be more independent, to generate energy through solar panels. They recycle a lot of water and a lot of things in general, try not to waste food either. It's great. And some of the newest buildings in Benidorm, the newest skyscrapers, they are also so expensive because it seems that they were using newest materials. And the design is done in this way that even like the glass, the panels, they absorb the light of the sun and they act like solar panels. That's incredible. Like there are things that are energetically efficient so much, and mostly on the Poniente beach. All that area is quite new. There's a lot of new skyscrapers emerging. There's new parks being built, playgrounds, sports areas, roads, bus routes, and many more things. It's very good quality place to live, honestly, and to retire if you're looking for it here in Benidorm town. And you know, we can always help you out, either in our migration consulting or in our real estate company, to find your forever dream home here in Benidorm or in any other surrounding area here in whole Valencian community. So that area wasn't recycling water just yet. There was not a project that's been approved. There was no money to do it. Now they have it. And on the Poniente Beach, there is a giant road work happening right now in specific areas separately. And what they do is they're trying to put all the pipes and all the system to actually be able to reclaim water. I think that's the correct term to say. Like reuse, reclaim the water that they are using, to use it for all the gardens, like maybe the swimming pool. A lot of swimming pools use seawater, by the way, like saline water instead of chlorified one, which is way better for the skin and for the body in general. And it is evolving so much. It's incredible. But like Benidorm, our area, so we technically earn so many awards about recycling, reusing the water, about being 100% accessible area, with an exception of the viewpoint at the old town, like the bottom one. That's the only place that's not accessible, like wheelchair accessible. All the rest of the areas are. and overall with efficient tourism. So the city should be proud, and them improving constantly, it is always admirable. And now let's talk about the weather forecast. What happened yesterday? Yesterday, we were driving from here towards Santa Pola and even in Benidorm already, but the more we went south, the more we've seen it. And then it came to our area. We started to see like clouds. It looked like a fog. And I know some people said, oh, fog in Benidorm, it's not a fog. That's false information. It wasn't a fog. The correct term is kalima, which is a hot air mass coming from Africa towards Canary Islands. And due to the storm Claudia, I think it's called, that's been bringing so much rain and so much of intense wind in Spain right now, what happened is that this air mass was blown towards the peninsula from Canary Islands. And this is something that we've seen. These particles, these are like sand and other mineral particles, and they're still here technically. I can still see them like on in the mountains here in the natural park. It's not as insane as it was this morning. We couldn't literally see the mountain. Yesterday in the evening, we were walking here, and whenever you were breathing, sensible people, they were able to like feel the sand in their mouth and like in their throat and in the nose. And it's like a dirt taste, you know. And actually the quality of the air was really, really poor. I'm not sure why this isn't advised anywhere, but it should be though, because there's people who have asthma, there's people who have some like respiratory diseases, they are just sensible with all the respiratory tract. But no one was advised. We know it because we check the weather forecast regularly, and we see it, and we use apps to track for running, etc. So we know it. And even now, like on the language, on my tongue, I can still taste it because it is still here. It's not as big, it's not as serious as it was. It's okay already, but it was incredible. And everything was covered with like reddish, like a fog, but it's not a fog, it's kalima. It's like reddish clouds of sand and particles. Some of them are big enough and they just stay like in the nose and here, but others are so small they go into the bloodstream, and that is why it's dangerous. Now it's better and it's almost gone. You can still taste it, but like on the palate right there, but it's almost gone. We expect it to be fully gone by tomorrow. So up until the evening, up until 10 at night, we'll still have it just a little bit, but we couldn't even see the mountains. Now, way better. We can see the mountain, we can see the sunshine at least in the sky. Blue sky is back, so that's good. But starting from tomorrow, it's supposed to be totally, completely gone from our area. Apart from that, there's going to be sunshine. It's raining in a lot of parts in Spain, but here it's not going to be the case. At least that's what we hope for. Fingers crossed. Because if it will, all these particles, if there are any still left, will end up on our terraces, on our cars, on all the businesses, in the hotels, everywhere. And we kind of don't want it because it's very, very uncomfortable to clean all of this. So sunshine, a little bit of clouds, and hopefully no more kalima because this was very intense. Temperatures will be cooling down to, right now we still have around 20 to 21 degrees. I'm trying my best to talk and breathe through my nose because if I'm breathing with the mouth right now, and I can feel it. I can feel it in the mouth, and it's absolutely disgusting. It like stays on the palate right there at the top, and you can like feel the dirt. It's awful. So it will be 20 degrees still for a couple of days, but starting from Thursday, which is going to be already 20th of November technically, so it's almost December month. That's all right. That's not as bad. That's when we're starting to have between 16 and 19 degrees. So no 20 degrees. Might be some specific days, but at least for Thursday, not going to be the case. And the normal thing would be to have between 14 and 20 degrees the end of November. And see, told you. Went to my throat. The normal thing would be to have these types of temperatures between 14 and 20. The whole month of December and even January. In February, it might be slightly more chilly, but overall, these are like the typical winter temperatures that we will have. So plenty of time still to enjoy the sunshine, to go out, to explore. And if there is kalima like this, if you're a sensible person in like health wise, do not go when you see there's kalima and when you see like there's reddish clouds, because all these particles, like I'm a healthy person and it bothers me, and it's not even that bad as it was today in the morning and yesterday, but it's still here. Imagine a person that has asthma or like anything related with health wise, this might not end good. So yeah, try and check it out. If you see something like this suspicious, ask the locals and try to avoid staying a lot of time on the outside, but hopefully it's not going to be the case any longer. Thank you for accompanying us in today's latest Benidorm news update. Wish you a lovely day, and we'll see you here on the channel very soon with a brand new video. Goodbye.